Okay, so so the easy way to tell if we're on time, we probably didn't get a minyan yet. And if we're a minute or two late, it means we got people here and I'm schmoozing. So we're 1 minute late and we're happy to have a minyan to start it all off. We begin page 14 with Yadid Nefesh. You might notice the flowers look a little different today. Tomorrow we are having a baby naming for Forrest and Sarah's little girl. And rather than a floral arrangement, they have a baby products arrangement. And then they're going to donate that to the NICU after Shabbat. And I have to say, it reminds me when I was a kid, one of the food pantries in Atlanta had a program with like the JFCS. They had a program where they had these baskets filled with empty boxes of canned goods that looked something like that you could buy or rent for your bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, and they'd bring them, and you made a donation to the food pantry equivalent to all the things inside the decoration, and then you were supporting the local food pantry and having a little color on the bima. So maybe something I'll have to call Chana and suggest Gulf Coast try it out. So we turn to page 15, Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Naria, Letzui, Shenu, Nekadma, Panav, Toda. Naria, Letzui, Shenu, Bismiro, Naria, Lo, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Neranena, Ladonai. Naria, Letzoi, Shenu, Nekadma, Pana, Betoda. Naria, Letzoi, Shenu, Bismiro, Naria, Lo, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai.
Armaim Shana
turn to 16, singing a song to Hashem. Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch shemahu, basru miyom le'yom yeshuato, daberu v'goyim kevodo, v'chol ha'amim niflotav. Katuv Adonai u'ol aleyot, Mikdasho havol Adonai, shlichot amim havol Adonai, kavod v'hoz havol Adonai, kevod shemo, seu mincha, uvo lechatzrotav, ishtachavu l'Adonai, v'chadar kodesh gidlu mipanav kol haaretz. V'goyim Adonai malach chatzikon tevel v'timot, dinamim b'mesharim yismechu hashamayim b'tagil haaretz. Hayam Elohim yalo sarai v'chol asher bo Aziranu kol hatzeyar lifnei Adonai, ki ba lishvot haaretz, betzedek be'amim be'emunato, yalai lalai 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 turn to the next page and continue silently on 17. Adonai malata kehel haaretz yismechoim rabim anav esasei atzmo mishpat mikol Yisrael. Page 18. Shir Adonai shir chadash, ki niflaot asa, Hoshia lo yamino, v'othro hakodsho, ani Adonai Elohim Gilad Tzidkato, Zachar Hasod Emunato, Be'et Yisrael Ra'u Kol Asei Haaretz, Et Yeshuat Eloheinu, Ariu Adonai Kol Haaretz, Pitzu V'ranenu V'zaheru, Zameru Adonai V'chinor, Chinor V'kol Zimra, V'chot Sotrot V'kol Shofar, Ariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yiramayav U'meloho, Tevel V'yoshecha, Ne'arot Yimcha'ucha, Yachar Arim Yeranenu, Lifnei Adonai Kiva, Mishpot Haaretz, Mishpot Tevel V'tzedek, Ve'amim Ve'shari, Yalai la 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 la, Yalai la 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 la, Yalai la 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 la, Yalai la 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 la, Let the sea roar and all its creatures. Sometimes the sea feels like rain, or the rain feels like the sea. But it's beautiful from inside. We'll read responsively on page 19. Adonai is sovereign, nations tremble. God is enthroned on high, the earth quivers.
Adonai is great in Zion, exalted over all peoples.
Let them praise
God, for God is awesome, holy.
The sovereign mighty rules with a love of justice. You alone bring about equity, ordaining justice and compassion for the people of Jacob.
Exalt Adonai our God. Worship God who is holy.
Moses, Aaron, Samuel, God's chosen ones, called out to Adonai, who answered them in a pillar of cloud.
They zealously strove to obey the divine law, even when God's decrees were beyond their grasp.
You responded to them with compassion, even as you rebuked them for their offenses.
Extol Adonai and bow toward God's holy mountain. Adonai our God is holy.
And the last verses at the bottom of 19. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu, romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'achar kadosho, romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'achar kadosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu, Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu ramenu. So we rise on page 20, singing the Song of David, hearing the voice of thunder over the rushing waters, the roar with all its might. Chavul Adonai be'arat kodesh, kol Adonai el hakavod irim, Adonai alai rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach chayei, kol Adonai וישבר אדוני וירקדם כמו עקב לבנון וסריון כמו מרעים כל אדוני רוצה לבוטש כל אדוני יחיל מדבר יחיל אדוני כל אדוני חולל הידות ויחסום יערות ופחלו כולו אומר כבוד אדוני למה הוא ישב וישב אדוני נלך לעולם אדוני עוז וקדמו בשלום We turn to page 21 to Lechadodi, welcoming the Shabbat bride. We'll sing the first two and last two stanzas, the first on 21 and the last two on 22. Likrat kala v'neshama nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshama nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshama nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshama nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad yishmianu El hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad Hashem uli feret v'litila Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshama nekabela 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 At Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor Averacha Mehirosh Mikrosh Mikerem Nesucha Sof Ma'aseh B'machshava Teila Yai lai 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 Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshabat nekabela Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshama nekabela Aminu smol Tiprotzi et Adonai Taritzi Yad ish ben artzi V'nismecha v'nagila Ya lai 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 Lechadodi likrat kala v'neshama nekabela Lechadodi לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה, אוי ושלום. אשרת בעלה, גם בשמחה, ופץ אוכלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאי לי לי לי, לכת אותי לקראת כלה, ונשמה נקבלה. 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 That's always a fun one. You may be seated. The song for Shabbat, page 23. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להכיר בבוקר חסדך, אמונתך בליבון, עלי אסור ולנבל, עלי היגיון בחינות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. נבך אדוני כי נבך יאבדו. כתמה יפרח כרז לבנון, יזכה שתו לי בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו And the last of the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, page 24. Adonai malach Yehudavish, Lavish Adonai oti tazah, Ati kon tevel baltimot. Nachon kisacha מעולם אתה נאספו נהרות אדוני, נאספו נהרות תוכיה, נהרות תוכיה, מקולות מי רבים Anirim Mishpereyam Adonai Edotecha Nemu Me'od Levitcha Nava Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim. Those who are observing a yard site, please join me on page 24. We'll rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. Bialma divrach ru'tei v'yamlech malchutei. B'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayei tichol Beit Yisrael. B'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dikudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran v'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. You may be seated. So I want to share a text. I'm going to share it again tomorrow, but in a bigger context. So I just want to look at this one text, and I want to ask a couple questions of you. So this will be interactive tomorrow, not as much. So this is from Rav Kook, Rav Avram Isaac HaKohen Kook, who lived from 1865 to 1935. He made Aliyah before there was the state of Israel, but he was the chief rabbi of the Yishuv of that pre-state Israel. And this comes from his commentary on the Siddur. And he says, we can only pray the way prayer is supposed to be when we recognize that, in fact, the soul is always praying. So before I read anything else, how does that strike you? What does it feel like to imagine that we go about our day, we live our lives, but all through that, at every moment of every day, our soul is praying. You're kind of you're going back and forth. What do you think?
We're busy enough. It's an interesting concept.
Okay. Anybody else? You like it?
Yeah, I like the concept too. I just recently read an article on how it's been discovered that trees actually they communicate with one another. And there's an actual sound that even humans can't hear. So I think it just rings a bell with what you're saying to me. There's this silent prayer going on all the time.
So I'm going to repeat what Susan just said, that there's research recently that trees actually communicate with sound, but in a pitch that humans can't hear. So you can correct me if I said it right, that trees, they are always communicating and we just can't appreciate it. And it resonates in a way that perhaps our souls are always trying to communicate in a way that we are not always aware of. Did I repeat that okay? So Rav Kook actually, it's going to come to that. So he says, while the soul soars and yearns for its beloved without stop, it's actually only at the time of active prayer that the perpetual prayer of the soul reveals itself actively and outwardly. So it's only when we take the time to pray that we acknowledge the prayer that was already happening within us. And then he takes it to you have something, Gal? Okay. This is prayer's pleasure and joy. Its glory and beauty. It is like a rose opening its elegant petals towards the dew, or turning towards the ray of the sun as they shine over it with its light. And therefore, it's a text from Talmud Brachot, Halavai, shitpalel adam kol hayom. Were it only, if only, that a person could pray the whole day long. And so Rav Kook takes that prayer from Talmud Brachot and says, we are praying at every moment, but we have to let it out. We have to release it, we have to feel it. And then, that it's like the trees. Then the trees are finally able to communicate. Then our heart and our soul and our own flower is able to open up to the sun, open up to God, and appreciate that. Any thoughts on that? I'm trying to think of a better question to ask and elicit more response. So we got a positive. We like it.
The question for me, where I guess where I struggle with is, how do you that connection?
So how do we feel it?
How do you get there?
So I mean, to me, what I'm reading is that Rav Kook is saying we're actually already there. We just don't know it yet. And so where the text came from is, so I've been doing this program with IJS, the Institute for Jewish Spirituality, and so I had their retreat last week, and then we get sort of an email every week with texts to study with our study partners, and this was in there. And one of the next texts was from Rav Nachman of Bratslav, who lived much closer to the present and lived a very, very, very difficult life. Married at like 13, married very, very young, lost his first wife. I believe he married again and lost her too, if I remember correctly. But, I think he died before he turned 40. And yet, in that brief life, he shared a Torah, shared teachings that were very, very inspirational to many people, to the point that there are people in Israel today who are Bratslav or Hasidim, who see themselves as direct descendants of his teachings. That most of the other Hasidic groups, one Rebbe passes away, and then they appoint someone else, whether a child or a cousin or some relative. The Bratslaver said, we don't need another rabbi. We had one, we don't need any more. He's our Rebbe. Doesn't matter that he's been dead for 200 years. He's still our Rebbe. So the text from Rabbi Nachman, I think, answered your question very much, because it said that, this is not a direct quotation, but his argument was that whatever we give, whatever we offer, is enough. That even when we think we haven't prayed with our whole heart and our whole soul, even if we gave it just a little bit of attention, if we were making the attempt to pray, that's all God needed. And I think that addresses the moment when we feel like, are we connected? Do we, yes, we have those moments, hopefully, at some point in our life, maybe once or 100 times, where in that moment we feel like, someone's really listening to me here. Where you get the little tingles and you feel that something special is happening. But you don't necessarily get that every single time you daven. You may not get it that often. You may have it just once in the entire, in your whole life. But Rabbi Nachman is saying, even if you only have that experience very occasionally, all the other times still matter. So I am appreciative of you all for being here tonight and lifting up our hearts and our souls, letting our flowers open, and trying to find a little bit of connection in a world that could very much use a little more connection. Shabbat Shalom. So if you want to hear about the Shema and the Ten Commandments, you have to come back for tomorrow and figure out how I connect that to that. So we rise, page 28 for the Baruch Hu. may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'dvarim harafim baruch mapatei hasharim.
Umaviyom umevi laila, umavir ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chaleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Havarim. Ahavat
Olam et Yisrael amcha avtam, Torah u'mitzvot ukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu mishakveinu u'kumeinu nasiach v'chukecha v'nizmach v'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam. Ki hem hayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu u'mahelech yomam v'layla yomam v'layla.
V'yavatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 30.
Shema
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. Baruch Shekod Mitzvah.
Ve'ahavta
Et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'atecha v'hayu הדברים האלה
asher anochi
מצדך
hayom
יום על לבניך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם מזוזות ביתך וישעריך.
Adonai Elohechem emet. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה וישראל חנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי
כמוך רימה לעלי, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נרתי לו תוסף אליהם.
מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע קיים לפני משה, זרי אנו ויאמרו,
Adonai Moch Le'olam Va'ed.
ונאמר, כי פרע אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני,
Hashemo.
God Israel.
And let's read at the bottom of, actually, we'll stay on 32, the bottom left side. Daily you renew our souls, restoring us as you redeemed our ancient nation Israel. From slavery to freedom, from sorrow to triumph, blessing our people with the springtime of its life, to be renewed by all of us each year. Healer of our wounds, holy God, do not abandon us to enemies who threaten, to tyrants who deny your sovereignty. Into your care we commit our souls now as in the past, sustained by your truth, embraced by your love, inspired with hope for the future by your faith in us. Beloved are you, Redeemer of the people Israel, whose faithfulness in ages past assures our future too. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all God's people Israel, and over Jerusalem. So we turn to page 34. We'll rise for Vishamru and the Chatzi Kaddish, and then we'll continue to stand as we take time to offer our own prayers to God, offering the words of the Amidah, the blessing of creation, and acknowledging the blessings in all of our lives.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ישמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתקרב ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. למען יברא גדולתי וימליך מלכותי בחייך וביומך ובחיי כל בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יש מרבה מבורך לעולם 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 יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מכל מרכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירת מעלה ואמרו
finished your personal prayer, we turn to page 47 for Vayechulum.
Vayechol hashamayim me'haaretz v'chotzer ha'am vayechal Elohim hayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishbor vayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vayimarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto ki lo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim לעשות. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech Avotenu, Elohei Avraham melech Yitzchak, melech Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El HaGadol HaGibor, El Elyon, Konei Shamayim v'Haaretz, Magen Aviraru, Mechayim Metim v'Mamaro, Ha'el HaKadosh she'en kamohu, Hameniach me'amo, B'yom Shabbat Kadsho, Ki Ba'am Ratzah le'aniach lahem, Ki Ba'am Ratzah le'aniach lahem, Lefanav navod be'ira v'pachad, V'nod lishmo b'chol yom tamid, Me'or habrachot, El hodahot, Adonai shalom, Mekadesh ha-shabbat u'mvarech shevi, U'meniach b'kedusha, le'amedu shnei yodeg, Zecher le'maseh, At the top of 48, we'll read together in English. Our God and God of our ancestors, find favor in our Shabbat rest, instill in us the holiness of your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness and gladden us with your triumph. Cleanse our hearts so we might serve you faithfully, lovingly, and willingly, Adonai our God. Grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, so that the people of Israel who hallow your name will always find rest on this day. Praised are you, Adonai, who hallows Shabbat. The Kiddush for Shabbat can be found on page 49.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, mishabat kodsho, me'ahav v'ratzon himilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tevilah למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, מאותנו גירשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך Yahweh uratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabat.
Amen. We turn to page 51 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shameach Adon hakol, לתת גדולה, בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שמו מלכנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומורים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא
יהיה אדוני אחד, שמו אחד. You may be seated. We remember this week Ida Asnier, William Novinsky, Gerald Schilling, Abraham Melitz, Leon Shapiro, Benjamin Talberg, Lena Rubinchik, Ida Levin, Abraham Bunz, Josiah Schulman, Martin Frogel, Walter William Paris, Estelle Ruth Burke, Catherine Somer, Pauline G. Hershkowitz, Zelda Becker, Charles Cohn, Doris Hirschfield, Isaac Silverman, Harold Goldberg, David Mendelblatt, Sidney Richmond, Bessie Gewurtzman, Wanda Goldfarb, Victoria Fusta, Marietta Drucker, Micah Asnier, Lou Bader, and William Seligman. May their memories be a blessing. Those who are observing a yard site or are in the time of mourning, please join me on page 52. We'll rise. V'yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma tivrach rotei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayei techol Beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'yamru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavorach leolam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kudsha b'richu. La'ein la min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nachamata, damaran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'yomamav, v'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. So I will say in the coming year, Some of the classes that I'm working on will be thinking about the relationship between prayer, the Shema, our souls, and how do we connect to that which is perhaps always praying. And so that's going to be some of the conversations for the Jews and Brews and the Lunch and Learns this year, and maybe some other things. Sometimes you just get excited about something and it keeps popping up in different ways. So when I'm excited, you get stuck. You have to learn with me. Well, I will say, for me, one of the times that I do feel, whatever we call the presence of God, Shekhinah, Spirit, is both in study and learning and trying to imagine and think about the Jewish world and how we can inspire and create blessing in this world, but also sometimes in teaching and sharing. And that if, there's an idea that somebody, that I can see it light up someone, then I can feel as if, almost like God saying, yes, you're on the right track. So you help bring godliness into my life. So thank you for that. And we'll conclude with the Igdal, page 53.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח ימצא באמת על מציאותו
אחד אין יחיד כייחודו נעלם גם אין סוף לאחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואין הגוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון וראשית כראשיתו הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל כמשה הנביא ומביט את אמונתו תורה דוד נתן לעמואל היה נביאו נאמן ביתו לא יחליף האל ולא יניד אותו לעולמי וזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביא לסוף דבר בקדמתו איש חסד כמפעלו נוצא לרשע רק כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימים בשטחנו לפתור בחלקי קץ ישועתו איתי מיכאל ורוב חסדו ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו מתי מיכאל ורוב חסדו ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. Shabbat Shalom. See you tomorrow. Shabbat.
I still have to watch it.